56 seconds of logos. Also Comcast. Walking. Excitement. This asshole runs ahead with the explicit goal of immediately doubling back for this jump scare like the asshole he is. Kids, the forever sin.
Si hay problemas, siga las rosas.
And I'm only going to give this card to you and none of the other immigrants because reasons.
Mexicans flee cartel violence, seeking the American dream.
Glad to see the series has moved away from the lofty claim that the purpose of the purge was to solve economic inequality and now has its sights set on the far more achievable goal of dealing with racial tension brought about by immigration. Much better. As if to fully illustrate how far beyond redemption these people are, we are shown this pig being forced to watch the barbecuing of its swiny and bovine brethren. Oh, the porkmanity of it all.
White supremacy rising as disinformation spreads.
And on your left, you'll see our new exhibition, which showcases the purge and its much maligned watercolor phase of expositional opening credit newsposition. In case you confused it with the Los Feliz Valley in Maine.
Why does your brother have to prove himself all the time?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because you say like...
I know someone who can calm that beast.
right in front of him.
A little more horse than you expected, huh?
Hey, that's exactly what I said to my college girlfriend the first time we had sex. No, it was not. The Horse Whisperer 2, Whisper Harder. Successfully subduing a substantial stallion by simply singing a softly spoken Spanish serenade.
That's a cowboy.
No, if anything, that's a horse man. God, this film isn't going to get anything right, is it?
Get back to work.
Get back to work? Did they all stop working so they could watch Dylan fail at taming a horse? Either that or it's a scheduled break, in which case, did they just choose to spend their break watching Dylan fail to tame a horse?
Solo acuérdate que 1 kilogramo son 2.2 pounds, así que tienes que multiplicar.
Hell yeah, because pounds and ounces are the American dream, baby. Viva la bout de pois! Wait.
She's lucky she got you to walk her through this.
She is, and you're lucky you had me to run this place.
Vanity. Fingering a spoon of guacamole and then returning it back to the serving bowl. That's how you get hormigas.
We can all lock down together.
Oh, I hate the damn purge. It's hard to be social on that night.
The man isn't suggesting you have a f***ing hoedown. He's talking about combining your numbers to give you a better chance of survival. There's a fine line between observational satire and just making me feel miserable by pointing out that like a 40% off all gun sale is a thing that would absolutely happen if the purge were, ooh, free beer.
You're doing a good job, Warren. My son's a hair rattled because of yesterday. Don't take offense.
This is a nice gesture, but how about you have this conversation with the asshole in question?
We are now just 1 hour away from the annual purge.
I suppose it wouldn't be a true purge movie unless it used expositional news updates like f***ing punctuation. Also, 3 movies, a prequel, and a TV show later, and these people are still waiting until the last hour before the damn purge starts to get themselves locked down. Where's the contingency plan if you get stuck in traffic? One of your security measures breaks down, or some yeehaw decides to purge 30 minutes early, because let's be honest, who would ever f***ing know? I can understand local businesses cashing in on all the build-up to the purge with special offers and themed events, but a special on drinks on purge night itself? Whose bright idea was that? Then again, I suppose if you're dumb enough to keep your bar open on purge night, you're probably dumb enough to think people will still be paying for shit when there are literally no laws. Entering a room and turning the television off without asking if the people already in the room were watching. You know what? I'm just not sure if this place is big enough for the 4 of them to stay locked down for 12 hours. Probably for the best that they sent Juan, Adele, and Titi away to the janky building in the middle of town. Wouldn't want to run out of recliners now, would we? This may look intimidating, but if the idea is to conceal your identity, then putting on the mask before you go out in public is probably a better idea.
¿A poco sí vamos a estar seguros aquí?
Huevo, cabrón. Confía en mí.
Trusting anyone on purge night.
This is not a test.
Montage of people from different socioeconomic backgrounds and varying ethnicities gather around the TV to listen to the red screen of doom in a purge movie cliche. Yes, there have now been enough of these damn things to constitute it being its own cliche. Don't hate the sinner, man. Hate the sin. If you're allowed to break any and all laws during this 12-hour period, wouldn't that mean you are also allowed to break the law regarding which weapons are permitted? Perhaps one day I will stop attempting to apply any sort of logic to this ridiculous situation. But as our society seems to be inching closer and closer to this sort of insanity seeming less and less far-fetched, I think it's important to fully understand the practicalities, you know, just in case.
Los servicios policiales de bomberos y médicos de emergencia no estarán disponibles hasta mañana a las...
If the fire department is not available, then it makes you wonder why anyone even worries about guns. Setting fire to every building, house, or structure you could would easily be the most effective way to spread destruction. Purge movie doesn't know how to purge correctly. This man wastes no time in getting his purge on, but I have to ask, what kind of dumbass takes part in the purge with only a f***ing knife? I can see carrying one as a last resort, but surely you wouldn't put yourself through this without a gun, especially in Texas. Movie has time for this. Well, howdy, Sheriff. Isn't that a horse whiffle of a convenience?
What are you doing out here?
I thought I heard something.
But somehow that something wasn't Cassidy's f***ing footsteps as she clonked over this hard concrete floor.
This is our country, okay? And we can choose to bring a baby into a world of love. Why are you laughing at me?
You just kind of turned me on.
Hell yeah, nothing gets me hornier than blind patriotism and childbirth. Also, is she just letting go the whole I almost shot you point blank moment and getting right to the dry humping? Oh, I guess she is.
Where'd you learn to handle a weapon like that?
She raised the gun and looked through the sight. I'm not saying Adela isn't a badass, because she most certainly is, but if you've seen more than one action movie, you know the basics of holding a gun. So the night is already over? That wasn't too bad. I guess this should be wrapping up shortly. I'll just double check this runtime and...
Harp, come on, let's get to work.
Being the kind of boss who doesn't let your employees off the day after purge night. I mean, this is his goddamn sister. We're supposed to be somewhat rooting for Dylan, right?
The day after the purge should be a holiday. Huh?
It's a holiday.
How does Juan not know what the word holiday refers to? He's been in the States for 10 months. If the purge is in March, then he's been in the country for July 4th, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. He would have heard the word at least a few times. Someone needs to inform this dog of the purge rules again. He or she had an entire 12 hours to eat all the people they wanted to.
Guns all over the state. Violence incidents ended hours ago. The purge is over.
Man, the news production crew who definitely would have seen this gunman coming and decided to carry on filming instead of warning the reporter. Why would you put this trap in what is essentially a deserted alley? Other than the company Adela is working for, there is not much around here. Maybe the Forever Purgers have these set up in multiple places, but we never see that if it's the case. And that still doesn't answer the question of why you would waste a trap of this design in this alley. Maybe a simple bear trap or something, but this would take a decent amount of time and effort to set up. Ah, sudden Coco! Even if you didn't think this was a trap set up from the previous night, why is Adela trying to free the goat? She has no idea why it's there. And it doesn't appear to be hurting or malnourished. Make sure it's got some water and maybe some snacks. But that's not your goat to free, Adela. No one will be seated during the ridiculously over-engineered trap from Saw portion of the movie. Also, this Anton Chigurh trap feels like it's specifically designed to entice somebody who has an affinity for animals, which seems extremely specific. Couldn't this have accidentally trapped an innocent Texan as easily as an innocent immigrant?
No. This is the Forever Purge.
Roll Forever Purge it. The Bad Bunny guys f*** around with this machine just long enough for Darius to appear and save the day. I guess they know Adela's the main character, bringing a pipe to a cleaver fight.
Go! Darius, go!
Apparently Darius is standing here ready and waiting with the bolt gun trigger, and this is completely f***ing pointless if Adela understandably fails to overpower the Purger-Gizer bunny. She ended up having no trouble at all, but why would Darius assume victory instead of actually f***ing helping her?
You and all your rich-ass neighbors will find out what it's like to be penniless and powerless.
Why are these guys so mad at Caleb and company? Sure, Caleb is wealthier than them, but he seems like a fair employer. Jesus, he even gave each of them a bonus check so they could better protect their families during the purge. Are we supposed to believe that the workers on multiple ranches have all turned to murder because they don't all own a farm themselves?
Let's see how much money you got. Oh, Dylan, I forgot. You're me now, which means you're broke.
Well, actually, you're only broke because you chose to spend your money on a fancy gun and holster, so you could terrorize the person who gave you said money for having more money than you. Gah! This is like complaining at a YouTube channel because you hate the videos they create while still watching said videos. I mean, who would do that?
The way the rich get rich off the backs of the poor. The way it's been ever since we robbed this land from the Native Americans.
Caleb would be excellent at CinemaSins.
What the f***? What the f***? God, the f*** is sovereign! Never after.
Why is anyone surprised? I'm amazed it's taken this long for the arbitrary 12-hour window to be thrown out of, well, the window. Why would you expect people who are willing to indiscriminately exercise their murder boners just because the government says it's okay for 12 hours to feel morally obligated to obey a time limit now that they have A, had a taste for it, and B, found like-minded people with similar extreme tastes?
Let me check the radio. Maybe there's some news.
Do you think? Does Dylan honestly believe the major news outlets would have decided to cover the fucking European Disc Golf Championship instead of the extended purge? Fucking maybe there's some news indeed. Also, I will give back every last damn sin from every Purge Sins video if this is, ironically, the one time that we did not get an expositional dump via news report. Let's gather around and listen.
People are still purging all across the country.
Nope!
It's blocked.
And you're in a goddamn semi, Josh Lucas. Why don't you bring out your inner American Psycho and Hulk and drive that thing on through the barricade and don't stop until you reach Sweet Home Alabama? Poseidon.
That is American music, motherfucker.
Phew. For a second there, I thought this was going to be the first Purge film. No, not that first Purge. God damn it. To not have a Purger with explicitly racist facial decorations and a disturbingly sexual relationship with firearms. Glad to see we can chalk up another victory in the war against subtlety. Hurrah! Juan thoughtfully decides to let his f***ing wife stew in her own fear by allowing her to believe that Purgers are breaking into the van rather than calling out to her. All so that we, the audience, can enjoy this suspenseful moment and heartwarming surprise. What a guy!
All right, let's grab everything we can.
Stealing.
Peanut butter. We found the jelly.
I know this probably isn't the time or place for new love to bloom, but god damn it, kind of dig the chemistry between these two. Teasing us and not pleasing us will get you a sin every time.
We've just gotten word that the NFFA has declared martial law across the country.
Apparently this Forever Purge was even a surprise to the government that started all this, and I once again have to ask why. You bastards let the kids loose in a candy store, and now you're wondering why they're hyped up on sugar and mom's struggling to put them down for a nap.
Mexico and Canada will take in anyone from America unarmed. Both countries will then close down their borders again in 6 hours.
Yeah, because the majority of the country that lives more than a 6-hour drive from Canada or Mexico, am I right?
I don't think white people are any better or worse than anybody else. But this I do believe. We should all just stick with our own.
I have to applaud the movie for not falling into the unfair trap of painting every Texan as a gun-toting, Bible-bashing, Second Amendment-quoting racist, as tempting as that might have been. But having one of our heroes stand at the top of the slippery slope promoting this scarily racist adjacent agenda of you stick to your people and I'll stick to mine is still extremely hard to root for and still f***ing problematic.
I got an idea.
She's one of us!
This works, in case you confused it with El Paso red enchilada sauce. Also, you know what was kind of interesting about this film? It was the fact that for the first time in the sequels, we were shown how the Purge affects the non-downtown areas, like suburbs and ranches. But now we're back to the heart of a large city. This might as well be the last 3 sequels, but here. Who felt the need to get all the way to the top of this building to hang the ever-after flag? Who's even going to see this? Not to mention some of this building is on fire, which most likely means this flag will burn eventually as well.
We're gonna go across to the theater!
To the theater? And people thought Sean was an idiot for wanting to hunker down in a pub during this zombie apocalypse. Roll credits! Yes, I'm pulling double duty by sitting a film that's playing inside the actual film we're sitting for saying its own title. Don't say you don't get your subscription's worth out of us. What is the mother purging point of hiding like this if you don't use the advantage to shoot or stab the people you're preparing to attack? Or was this jump scare worth a bullet through your brains?
Behind you!
After 2 attacks, would it not be wise to check on or just straight up shoot the other bodies in this room? You know, just to bring this game of sleeping purgers to a close?
There's 2 of us and 2 of them. That right there is what's wrong with this country. What do you want to do about him, Daddy?
Calling your significant other Daddy.
You kill the b****s.
Don't even think about it, b****.
That is a gratuitous amount of that's racist, so here is an equally gratuitous amount of sense.
This country's gone haywire. It don't know itself no more.
You are hardly in a position to judge the relative knowledge of an entire populace when you yourself don't seem to understand basic grammar anymore.
This is the NFFA. Lay down your weapons or you will be...
NFFA ex machina. Wait, does that really count if the NFFA was the reason their lives were at risk to begin with? Screw it. It's not like anyone's counting.
Are you sure that this is safe?
Rosa.
New from Plot Devices Incorporated, the all-new, all-protecting Rose, the next generation in home security. Under threat from heavily armed invading racists? Worry no more, just install a special edition Neon Rose and you won't even have to worry about locking your front door. Buy now while stocks last.
The military is retreating out of El Paso after suffering massive losses in their battle against purgers, including an attack on a U.S. Army base.
I may be naively underestimating the number of motivated racists that are willing to take up arms and form a government-toppling militia, but are we expected to believe that this movement has gone from being known by literally nobody to overpowering the National f***ing Guard in one of the most powerful states in the country in the space of a day? You just know that a f***ed up government like the NFFA would have upped the firepower of the Army and National Guard, so this is no small feat. There may well be an intelligent group of people organizing the Forever Purge, but the movie doesn't hint at who they are or how they're doing it. All we see is random looting and even more random killing of anyone with a vaguely exotic appearance, accent, or skin tone. Mad Max, Purgy Road!
When the bullets run dry, draw them in close, use blades.
Are you going to cut the guns out of their hands?
We'll help you. But it's not your fight.
Chiago has been on TV at different points of this movie spouting his disdain for the Purge, so he's clearly made it his fight. And how about you accept help when it's given to you, Dylan? We've got rope. We've got no rope.
This is our last
Scene contains no X-Men.
I'm out too.
Heroes run out of ammo and are backed up against a posse of gun-toting madmen, but somehow come out the winner's cliche. Hey, Marty, you know how in The Dark Knight Rises, Bane needed just that one thing to make his ensemble look even more badass? And what would that be, Stan? 2 shotgun shells on either side of his mouth? You're Genius, Stan. We're putting that in the movie.
Hunt them down and kill them all.
Was that final goal ever in question with these people? Were a couple of the guys confused and thinking they were just going to hunt them down and then tell Dylan and Juan how they're wrong about crazy white people?
Purge and purify. Ever after.
I guess I've always misunderstood the meaning behind that Drew Barrymore movie from the late 90s. My eyes have been opened. Is this guy seriously using his motorcycle as a weapon? They have f***ing guns! I don't think this movie understands how necks work, because this motorbike tire should really be a lovely shade of Juan by now. Considering how much attention has been given to Dylan and Juan continuing to lug these ropes around, the outcome of all that foreshadowing is a little disappointing. 10 minutes of rope buildup and very little payoff is my 15th least favorite thing in movie fights, so I'm giving 15 cents.
Sheltering over 2 million American refugees.
I want to give the movie credit for giving us a fittingly ironic situation where the movement designed to rid America of illegal immigrants has ended up turning 2 million Americans into refugees themselves. The problem is this valid social commentary is once again surrounded by generic action set pieces, heavy-handed racism, and punctuated by unnecessary jump scares and tediously repetitive exposition by newscast. Don't take it too personally though, movie. I'm sure you have at least another 5 attempts to get it right before the franchise is forever purged itself.
Stars at night are big and bright.